My wife joined a running club that met at 6 a.m. Her fitness tracker showed she never left the parking lot. Technology has given us unprecedented ability to track our health, monitor our fitness progress, and share our athletic achievements with others. Fitness trackers, smartwatches, and GPS-enabled devices create detailed records of where we go, how far we travel, and what activities we're engaging in throughout the day. These devices are designed to help us achieve our wellness goals, but they also create digital footprints that can reveal when someone's claimed activities don't match their actual movements. When someone says they're running miles every morning, but their tracker shows they haven't moved from a parking lot, the data tells a story that contradicts the narrative they've been presenting. The fitness community has become a convenient cover story for people conducting affairs. Early morning workout sessions, weekend running groups, and training partnerships provide plausible explanations for being away from home at unusual hours, while also explaining physical changes that might result from increased personal grooming and self-care. When someone suddenly develops intense dedication to a fitness routine they've never previously shown interest in, especially one that requires leaving home before dawn, it can seem like admirable self-improvement. But sometimes that fitness enthusiasm isn't about health at all. It's about creating scheduled time away from home for activities that have nothing to do with exercise. I'm Nathan, 33 years old, and I work as a software developer for a tech company in Austin. My wife Olivia and I have been married for 6 years, together for 8. She's 31 and works as a graphic designer for a marketing agency. We live in a modern apartment complex with good amenities, share a love for cooking and trying new restaurants, and what I believed was a solid partnership built on shared interests, mutual support, and honest communication. Olivia had never been particularly interested in fitness or exercise during our relationship. She wasn't opposed to physical activity, but she'd never shown the kind of dedication that serious runners or fitness enthusiasts typically display. We'd occasionally go for casual walks together or do some light hiking on weekends, but structured exercise routines had never been part of her lifestyle or priorities. About 4 months ago, that changed dramatically. Olivia announced that she'd decided to join a running club that met every weekday morning at 6 a.m. at a park about 15 minutes from our apartment. I've been feeling like I need to take better care of my health, Olivia explained when she first told me about the running club. Some women from my design networking group recommended this running club. They say it's a great way to start the day with exercise, and it's also a good social opportunity to meet new people. I was supportive of Olivia's decision to prioritize her health and fitness. Starting a morning running routine requires serious commitment and discipline, and I admired her motivation to make positive changes in her lifestyle. That's great, I said. What time will you need to leave in the mornings? Probably around 5:30, Olivia replied. The park is about 15 minutes away, and I want to get there early enough to stretch and chat with people before the actual run starts at 6. The following Monday, Olivia's new routine began. She'd wake up at 5:15 a.m., get dressed in running clothes, and leave the apartment by 5:30. She'd typically return around 7:30 a.m., shower, and then head to work. The routine was consistent and disciplined. Every weekday morning, without exception, Olivia was up before dawn to attend her running club. Over the following weeks, I noticed that Olivia seemed happier and more energetic. She talked enthusiastically about the running club, mentioned some of the other members by name, and seemed genuinely invested in this new fitness journey. She'd tell me about their running routes, discuss her improving pace and distance, and share stories about the social dynamics of the group. We did 6 miles this morning, Olivia would say over breakfast. I'm getting faster, and the group is really supportive. There's this one woman, Jennifer, who's been running for years and gives great advice about form and breathing techniques. I was genuinely happy for Olivia's newfound passion for fitness. She seemed more confident, was taking better care of her appearance, and appeared to be building friendships with people who shared her interest in health and wellness. About 2 months into Olivia's running club routine, I decided to surprise her by also focusing on my own fitness. I purchased a new fitness tracker, the same brand and model that Olivia had been wearing to track her morning runs. I thought it would be fun for us to both monitor our activity levels and maybe even participate in some friendly competition or shared fitness challenges. When I set up my new fitness tracker, the app asked if I wanted to connect with other users I knew. I added Olivia's profile to my connections, thinking we could share our workout data and encourage each other's fitness progress. That's when I noticed something strange about Olivia's morning running data. According to her fitness tracker, she was waking up early and her heart rate would increase as expected when preparing for exercise. But her GPS location data showed that every morning she would drive to the park's parking lot lot and then stay there for 2 hours without any movement that would indicate running, walking, or any other form of exercise. At first, I thought there might be a technical issue with her tracker or the GPS functionality. Maybe the device wasn't syncing properly or the location services weren't working correctly. But when I checked multiple days of data, the pattern was consistent and undeniable. Every single morning, Olivia's tracker showed her arriving at the park around 5:45 a.m. and remaining stationary in the parking lot area until approximately 7:30 a.m. when she would drive back home. There was no GPS route showing a running path, no elevation changes that would indicate running through the park's trails, no distance log that would correspond to the miles she'd been claiming to run each morning. Just 2 hours of remaining in essentially the same location, with heart rate patterns that suggested she was engaged in some form of activity, but definitely not running. I checked the data going back weeks, and every single morning showed the exact same pattern. Olivia was driving to the park before dawn, staying in the parking lot for 2 hours, and then returning home claiming she'd been running with her club. I felt sick to my stomach as I realized what this data was revealing. Olivia hadn't been running at all. She'd been using the running club story as a cover for spending 2 hours every morning doing something else entirely. And whatever she was doing in that parking lot was important enough to her that she'd been maintaining this deception every single weekday for months. That evening, I decided to address what I discovered directly rather than trying to gather more evidence or confirm my suspicions through additional monitoring. Olivia, I said after dinner, I got a new fitness tracker today, the same model you have. I connected our accounts so we could share our workout data. Olivia's face immediately changed. The color drained from her cheeks, and she set down the glass she was holding with a trembling hand. I noticed something interesting about your morning running data, I continued. According to your GPS, you drive to the park every morning and then stay in the parking lot for 2 hours without moving. You're not running. You haven't been running. What have you actually been doing every morning for the past 4 months? Olivia sat frozen for several moments, unable to formulate a response. When she finally spoke, her voice was barely audible. I can explain, she whispered. Then explain, I said, because right now it looks like you've been lying to me about running every morning while actually doing something completely different. The conversation that followed was devastating. Olivia admitted that there was no running club. She'd been using the early morning hours to meet someone she'd connected with through an online community related to her design work. They'd been meeting in his car in the park's parking lot every weekday morning for the past 4 months. It started as just online conversations, Olivia said, though her explanation sounded rehearsed and hollow. We connected over shared professional interests, and eventually we decided to meet in person. The early morning time slot worked for both of our schedules, and using the running club story seemed like a believable way to explain being gone every morning. You've been meeting someone in a car at a park before dawn every morning for 4 months? I asked. And you created an elaborate lie about joining a running club, complete with fake stories about running routes and other members, to cover what you were doing. Olivia couldn't maintain eye contact. She admitted that her relationship with this person had evolved from professional discussions to personal conversations to emotional intimacy and eventually to physical involvement. The morning meetings in the parking lot had become the most important part of her day, the time she looked forward to and planned around, while treating our marriage as an obligation to be managed through careful deception. Who is this person? I asked. His name is Alex, Olivia said. He's a freelance designer I met through an online creative community. He's married too, which is why we meet early in the morning before either of our spouses are awake and before we have to go to work. The revelation that both Olivia and her affair partner were married made the betrayal even more calculated and intentional. They'd both deliberately chosen to create a systematic routine of morning meetings, had coordinated their schedules to facilitate their relationship, and had been deceiving their respective spouses with matching cover stories about early morning activities. Does Alex tell his wife he's going to a running club too? I asked. I don't know what he tells his wife, Olivia admitted. We don't really talk about our marriages when we're together. Over the following days, I learned more details about Olivia's morning routine and the relationship she'd been conducting in secret. She and Alex had been meeting in his car almost every weekday morning since she'd started her fake running club. They'd used that 2-hour window for conversation, intimacy, and planning future meetings. The relationship had become emotionally significant to both of them, and they'd been discussing the possibility of leaving their respective marriages to be together openly. Alex and I have talked about what it would be like if we were both free, Olivia said during one of our painful conversations. We've discussed whether what we have is strong enough to justify ending our marriages and dealing with all the complications that would involve. The GPS data from Olivia's fitness tracker provided undeniable proof of her systematic deception. Every single morning for months, she'd been driving to that parking lot, remaining stationary for 2 hours, and then returning home to shower and act as if she'd just completed an intense running session. She'd created elaborate fictional narratives about her running club, complete with made-up characters like Jennifer, who supposedly gave her running advice. fitness, all while actually spending that time in a car with Alex. Why did you keep wearing the fitness tracker if it was tracking your location? I asked. I didn't think about the GPS data, Olivia admitted. I was only thinking about the step count and heart rate data. I knew those would look strange if I claimed to be running, but had no steps or elevated heart rate. So I wore the tracker during our meetings so there would be some activity data. I never considered that the location tracking would show I wasn't actually running. Despite weeks of counseling, I couldn't rebuild confidence in someone who'd been systematically deceiving me every single morning for 4 months while conducting an intimate relationship with another person. The fitness tracker data had shown not just individual instances of deception, but a comprehensive pattern of lying that had been maintained with disciplined consistency over an extended period. We separated 3 months later. Olivia's relationship with Alex continued after our separation, though according to mutual friends, it didn't survive long once it was no longer a secret. Much of their connection had been based on the excitement of forbidden morning meetings rather than genuine compatibility for a long-term relationship. Our divorce was finalized 5 months later. Olivia moved to a different apartment, and I eventually moved to a different part of Austin to create some distance from the places that reminded me of our relationship. The experience taught me that modern technology creates both opportunities for deception and mechanisms for exposing that deception. Olivia's fitness tracker was supposed to help her maintain the illusion of being a dedicated runner, but the GPS data it collected became the evidence that revealed the truth about her morning activities. Looking back, I realized that Olivia's sudden interest in early morning fitness should have seemed more suspicious given that she'd never previously shown any dedication to structured exercise routines. Her enthusiasm for waking up before dawn every single weekday seemed admirable at the time, but it was actually evidence that she was highly motivated to create scheduled time away from our marriage for activities that had nothing to do with health or wellness. I'm in a relationship now with someone who values transparency about her schedule and activities. We've discussed the importance of being honest about where we go and what we do, even when it involves activities that don't include each other. Neither of us maintains routines that require elaborate cover stories or fictional explanations. The most important lesson I learned is that when someone's claimed activities don't match the data their devices are recording, the data is usually telling the truth. Olivia claimed to be running miles every morning, but her fitness tracker showed she never left the parking lot. The technology designed to monitor health and fitness became the tool that exposed months of systematic deception hidden behind a fabricated story about self-improvement and athletic dedication. That moment when I connected our fitness trackers and saw that Olivia's GPS data didn't match her running club stories taught me that sometimes the truth is hiding in the digital records we create without realizing they're documenting our deceptions. The device Olivia wore every morning to support her lies became the evidence that destroyed them.